First, I want to go to an inn and add the necklace to the thing. The ensemble. Is there no inn here? There isn't. Interesting. I hadn't noticed that before. There's no inn. Right? I don't think there is. Weird. Stranger from Paradise? That's not the Tataru quest. Stranger from Paradise. Oh, it's a variant dungeon. Okay. From patch 6.5? Okay. Small business, big dreams. That's the tutorial quest. So let's do that one. That's where we're starting. It's snowing. Wild. I don't think I've seen that before. You need to dress accordingly, sir. Lost Char. Hello. Small business, big dreams. Magina seems inordinately eager to speak with you. Hi. Chrane Carmine, welcome, welcome. I'm Magina, assistant shopkeep and apprentice seamstress here at Tataru's boutique. I doubt you remember my face, as I'm merely one of the many who owe you our lives. You were in the Garlemald scenes running. I remember that. You will always have my gratitude for saving me that day on the Eblin Rhyme. How could I forget? You're too kind. And while I hate to ask aught more of you, please say that you are here to assist. Please say that you are here to assist in Mistress Tataru's new endeavor. Explain. Not yet, but he soon shall be. Oh boy. The dread herself. Oh no! The smug face. Whatever would we do without your penchant for turning up precisely when you're needed, huh? That's how I feel. Now, to make the long story of our solvency short, we've secured the resources to produce the new designs I develop in cooperation with guilds near and far, and in sufficient quantity to meet rising demand. We cannot rest on our laurels, however. To serve passing adventurers and the occasional intrepid Charlian is well and good, but we're hardly taking the world by storm, no. Much like yourself, we must ever look to new horizons. The Scions proved that cooperation on a star-wide scale is possible, and we would be fools not to capitalize on that to build the grandest trade network in the history of Heidelin. All for the greater good, of course. Yes, this is a wonderful opportunity to bring people together. I often think back to that incredible moment when the Garlean army came to our rescue. Perhaps our efforts, too, will one day lead to a miracle like that which took place on Eblin Rhyme. I have no doubt that they shall, but we mustn't expect such alliances to form themselves. We must be proactive, and who better to woo our future partners in commerce than our current number one... I was about to say neighbor. Number one customer, you. Our erstwhile comrade in arms know that when it comes to good experience, equipment, and better ideas, few have such keen eyes as our adventurer extraordinaire. Even should they hesitate at first, I'm certain you can convince them using the samples I've prepared. Well, I see that my mind is made up. If you'll cover my Aetheryte expenses. She won't. I see that my mind is made up. But of course, with your assistance, we'll have both coin and goodwill flowing in no time. Everything is falling into place. Where shall we send Chrane first? Don't worry, I have it all planned out. First, Lim Salaminsa. Sicard has the bloody executioners working harder than ever, so he's sure to appreciate any extra supplies. Next, Gridania. The Seed Seers are a source of trusted authority and insight into the Shroud, so we'd not go amiss in cultivating the investment of, say, Arun Senna. I hear that he has some interest in affairs abroad, so the novelty of our samples may persuade him to our side. As for old Daw, I feel confident in pinning our hopes on Pippin. He's always been a stalwart ally, and it goes without saying that he has more than a little sway in the Sultanate. Between his involvement and with the Immortal Flames, the Syndicate, and the Colosseum, he's bound to find a use for quality accoutrement. With that out of the way, Magina, would you do the honors? So visit the capitals. Got it. Never let it be said that the Tataru is stingy with her samples. Now if you make your way to Limsa and climb aboard the Astalicia, I'm certain someone will point you in Sicard's direction. I have my own avenues of inquiry to attend to, but I'll check in periodically to see how your journey's coming along. Let's get to it. Now we'll only be doing these in the same tempo as they came out, patch-wise. So it's only one Tataru quest, but there's like a bunch more after this one. But for this patch, it's only one. Aye, I recognize ye. What do you want? Long as it's not about another bloody apocalypse, I don't see why not. Wait here. I love that he was inconvenienced by an apocalypse. Only him as well. Everyone else, no one else was inconvenienced. Well, bugger me. Thought we'd seen the last of you for a while. What brings you aboard? Your crew seems busy. No rest for the wicked and all. We're getting so many shipping requests that we've hardly put down anchor since old Charlian. You know, there was a time I thought pirating was the whole world. That being the best of them meant something. Going to Ilsabad made me see how small my world was. Compared to the real one, standing next to the store's finest, I started to wonder what I had to brag about. And the bloody executioners went and did me proud by bringing a bigger goddamn haul of adamantite than anyone else in the realm. Between that and the new metal works we got going with the kobolds, it seemed like the right time for the executioners to change our sails, so to speak. Which is all to say, if you've got wares to, for promoting, I'd be happy to show them off across the realm and beyond. Well, masterworks from Tataru, Taru's boutique, guaranteed by the Warrior of Light himself. Oma seems the ways to wear 'em. Folk be lining up at the docks for these. Literally, seeing as old Charlian's only accessible by sea. Now if we got ourselves an exclusive shipping contract. I see the course clear as day. Now we just need a Manolane on board. He's right useless when there's work to be done, but talk's another matter. And he still owes me one for keeping his sorry ass out of trouble. So I'll have him put me in touch with a few savvy salesman types of the continent. Sounds good to me. Tell Tataru I look forward to setting sail on this new tideverse. May the wind or change guide us alright. Well, that worked out. Chrane, it's me. How goes our little venture thus far? He ate it up. Oh, sick on tying the shipping routes, huh? All according to plan. But our work has only just begun. I'll keep having my own contracts while you work on Arun. I hear he's not often in the city, but I doubt that Mother Mune can... I don't doubt that Mother Mune can sniff him out. Well, wow, wow, wow. Shrek J. Why, if it isn't Chrane Carmine, struck with a sudden craving for eel pie, were you? Or is it information you fancy? Oh yes, word of our seed seers coming and goings never fails to reach my ears. I'm told ever since he returned from his foray to Ilsabard, he's been roaming back and forth between our neighboring tribes, settlements, and the Lola Stand. You'll miss him if you make for one or the other, like as not, so I suggest you waylay him at Blue Badger Gates. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Mune. Na 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 na. Right, we were gonna do the inn as well. I almost forgot about that. Retire to an inn. Bow, 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 bow. Where are my ninja weapons? Okay, that's the appearance I'm using. All right. Okay. For the raid, I'm probably going to be playing Ninja. Those pants look insane. Remove glamour plate link. There we go. So now they stay this way. Ninja, where are you? There you are. Need to find some pants for this one. That might work. Not ideal, but it works. I'll probably do these, I think. Apply glam, yes. Paladin and then ninja. Yeah, that works. Okay. Now we have a get up for the raid, and this is upgraded, or updated as it were. Good. Let's wait for Arun Senna. Honestly, yeah, that just looks better. Okay. Destination. Haha. We've got him. Curious. Might I ask why you're loitering at the gates, Chrane? With such an enormous sack. And that bag is quite large as well. I admit you've piqued my interest. To integrate the tradition of ingenuity of guilds throughout Eorzea in such a fashion is no small feat. As it happens, I'm of the mind to do something similar myself, assuming I secure the other Seed Seer's approvals. You're doubtless aware that historically Gridania has placed the peace of the Twelves Wood and our covenant with the elementals above all else, often to the detriment of our relationship with other peoples. Yet much as we are one with the Shroud, we are not also part of the Star Entire. Our ventures in Garlemald made plain the strength of a world united. This attire you carry demonstrates much the same truth. But perhaps you assumed you would need to talk me round to the idea. If so, I apologize for the disappointment. If it's any comfort, I'm nearly as surprised myself. No longer am I content to hear the words of the elementals alone. I wish to know the voices of men. Though our time in Garlemald has shown me that my ability to listen is average at best. These horns may mark me as gifted in the Twelveswood, but beyond they inspire neither fear nor awe. I have been mistaken several times for a Zayla, and may as well be one, for all the difference my status as a seed seer makes to those who want for succor. Yet 'twas this selfsame insignificance that allowed me, for the first time in my life, to truly feel part of a greater whole. I am but one life among myriads upon this star. I dare say I should behave accordingly. Boy got humbled. With luck, my elder sisters shall agree. Tell Mistress Tataru that her gift is accepted with gratitude, and she ought to hear from us soon. Bye-bye. Guess who? Did you speak with Arun yet? That sounds promising. I'm beginning to understand what makes our seed seer friend tick. But we can discuss that later. You need to catch Pippin ere his duties take him from Ul'dah once more. I believe he spends much of his time at the Colosseum, so perhaps you should pay a visit to the Gold Courts. The Gold Courts. I'll be awaiting your full report at the boutique. If the weather is anything to go by, I'm not going to be very lucky with this one, but I don't believe in the weather. Weather's not real. Should probably do remembering the past this stream as well before we keep going. I'm probably going to do it after the 2 Omega quests. You know what? No, I'm going to save it for tomorrow. I'm saving it for tomorrow. I see. Marshal Terrapin is currently engaged in another meeting, but I shall tell him that Captain Carmine awaits his convenience. It's nice that even though I've left the Immortal Flames, I'm still counted as a captain rank. It's very nice of them. I'm with the Twin Adders now. But I'm a captain again, though. Pippin! My apologies for keeping you waiting. I did not expect you here today. My boy. How are you, Pip? Look at this bag. Tataru is offering quality material, is she? I can hardly say no to that. It fits almost too perfectly with my plans for the flames. I have long striven for mastery of the blade. I required the trials of Ilsebard, however, to truly see Tizona for what it is. The fire that warms the coldest night. The spark that ignites a blaze of hope, and most of all, an unbreakable testament to Father's faith in me. More ally than tool, it is a treasure beyond price. Does every soldier of the Immortal Flames not deserve allies such as this? Arms and armor to remind them what they fight to protect, to help them stand when they might otherwise fall. Indeed, works made possible only through the ingenuity and dedication of allies across the star Maybe just the sort of inspiring armaments we need. I anticipate that I will be sending along an order for custom equipment ere long. In the meantime, would you mind if I use these samples for a few trials here at the Colosseum? Go right ahead, Pip. My thanks. We shall put them to use immediately. I wonder what they look like. As a child of Ul'dah, however, naught strikes fear into my heart like the prospect of receiving valuable goods for free. I must insist you accept something in return. I'll take the sword. I had been meaning to gift that necklace to Tataru. Its poor condition aside, she might rather have it than not. Hey, kitty. I've spoken with Tataru at some length about our pasts. You understand, in many ways we are quite similar. Really? Thought he was about to reveal that they've been dating in the past. As you may recall, her family was bankrupted when she was very young, a consequence of her father's business failing. They were forced to put all their wealth toward paying off his debts, and then some. One asset they reluctantly parted with was a necklace treasured by her mother, for which Tataru has long searched to no avail. But he found it. Strangely enough, I recently discovered jewelry of the very same description amidst a store of neglected Colosseum prices. Assuming it is the same piece, I should like to see it returned to her. It is significantly worse off for having changed hands, though, and only the sapphire centerpiece remains unlost and undamaged. She may appreciate the sentiment, nevertheless, but it is difficult to say. What do you think? The memories it holds for her aren't lost or damaged. Damn right. The necklace itself may be broken, but the memories are intact. What, you hungry again? You hungry? True enough, though, if it's to be a gift, I would prefer to at least clean it up a bit. In that case, I had considered asking the Goldsmiths Guild, but you ought to be able to turn the necklace into a piece that Tataru would wear, if not precisely what she remembers. I imagine you will have the opportunity to pick up gems and other suitable materials on your travels. From there, it's merely a matter of unifying the pieces. Are you willing? What have I signed up for? Is this a long thing? Then I will have the sapphire removed from its setting and sent to the boutique with all haste. I doubt even Tataru would dare open a private package addressed to you. Best of luck in finding matching materials and in your mercantile endeavors, of course. May the traders guide you to fortunate fare. Bye, Pippin. Or is that the long-term thing? Yeah, the quest is done. It might be the long-term thing where I, over the quest line, repair the necklace. And then give it to her on at the end of the quest line itself. In patch 6.5. You look cool. What is that armor? Is that... Really? Radiant host for healing? Is this all just Radiant hosts? That looks dope. The only thing that's different is they colored it white. Hi. Goodbye. It's Jack Sparrow. Reaper. I forgot I can use this now. Regina, you've returned with your bag all the lighter for having given away our samples, I hope. Speaking of which, a parcel from one Pippin Tarupin arrived not bells ago, addressed to you. Could it be that our newfound partnerships are already bearing fruits? It's private. Her mother's necklace? Why, that's a wonderful idea. Why did I tell you? It's a secret. Okay, please allow me to assist. Fine. I swear I won't breathe a word of this to Mistress Tataru. Okay. You're in on the secrets. You may help. I do wonder what parts you will need. Do you know what style Mistress Tataru prefers? If this necklace is to be a keepsake, why not focus on that? Oh, apologies, I could not help it over here. Everyone knows now. It's scuffed. It's done. That's quite alright, but do please keep your voice down. What was it you were saying? It simply occurred to me that since you were gifted with the sapphire so readily, our other partners in this endeavor may wish to offer up something for Mistress Tataru as well. With such gifts, you could turn the necklace into a memento of not just her past and its trials, but her present successes as well. Great idea. That's perfect. If our plans for the boutique proceed at pace, we should soon have more than enough tokens from friends across the seas. What do you think, Chrane? I think that sounds wonderful. Well, what are you waiting for? Were you waiting for little old me? Sure. Mistress Tataru, we were just discussing the successful delivery of the samples. Yes. Good to hear. How fares dear Pippin? He's good. He's good. No specifics. I knew he would come through, though I admit that I wasn't expecting to outfit a whole host of immortal flames quite so soon. I suppose it goes to show that even the most hardened warrior can always learn a thing or two. And Sicard and Arun have changed as well, if your tales are any indication. I imagine their personal growth bodes well for that of our network. Thank you for checking up on them. We must sort through our current commissions before deciding who to approach next. But I know I can count on you to be ready when we are. Yeah. Nice. Next up is Omega 2 quests. I don't want to know anything. I don't know why I even clicked on her. I would have been shown an image most likely on the quest and I don't want to see it. I don't know why I would risk it. Oh yeah, here it is. The Omega quest line has 2 quests for this patch. Whamim! Yeah. Alpha and Omega. A Heartless Hypothesis. 2 quests. The Bespectacled... yeah, that's right. Bespectacled... I don't know why that sounds wrong. Bespectacled, yeah. Technician is enjoying the refreshing harbor breeze. That's blown the cobwebs away. Time to return to work. I'm gonna scare her. Okay, never mind. Goodness me, how incredibly serendipitous that I would run into you of all people. Hi. Why do some of you scientists wear late Allagan armor? I was part of the team which designed the Ragnarok, you see. And we've recently begun the process of combing through the vessel's flight log data. The primary objective of your journey to Ultima Thule was to save our star and countless others, of course. But it also provided us with an invaluable trove of information. Records of places and events we could only dream of. Your safe return gave us much to be thankful for. As it so happens, one of the things we pulled from the log was transmission of unknown origin. Something the ship must have intercepted during its flight. We believe it to be an audio message, but even our most talented linguists have been unable to decipher the language. For a while there, it seemed we must accept defeat, but today may be the day we finally solve the mystery. If you were so inclined, would you care to come along to Thomazane? It seems fitting to have one of the Ragnarok's original passengers present to hear history being made. Sure. Let's go and fight these two before we move on. That way I don't have to teleport into Labyrinthos later. It's weird having so many jobs at max level. What am I gonna do when they're all maxed? It's like the biggest part of my gameplay, leveling. There we go. And now for the next one, I think it was over here. And that's all the hunts in this place. Oh, hold on. I need to close my door. Whoa. I'm gonna open a window. Hold on. Very warm in here. It's very warm in here. Now I have to open my close my door. So that's fun. Okay. Whew. Of course, I stopped near a waterfall. It's a fun background noise for you. Yako. Dun 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 dun. Damn. He got roasted. What a pure soul. Yeah, it wasn't Thomasine. I really need to do all the side quests to get them off my map. I started in Charlian, but I only started picking them up and doing some of them before streaming, so I didn't get very far. I think I've turned in 4 or something. And no ether currents. Hello. There you are. This is where we're to meet the engineers from Garland Ironworks, who I'm told potentially hold the key to unlocking our mystery transmission. They should be along any moment. Wow, look at that ship. Wonder what it'll do. What could you use that thing for? I wonder. Sorry we're late. We had some trouble finding the right... Gods, is that you, Chrane? Biggs! No Wedge? Yes, the man himself. I ran into him at the harbor and thought if anyone deserved to hear this message deciphered, it was Chrane Carmine. No argument here, but bugger me if you don't have a knack for being in the right place at the right time. It's weird. It's almost as if there's quest markers everywhere. It actually has more to do with you than you might think, so please do stick around. Shall we pick up where we left off then? As I was saying, we think this transmission, the Ragnarok, intercepted is a message of some kind, albeit in a language entirely alien to our ears. Alien being the operative word here. Considering we received this message out in the great expanse, its origin was likely some distant star. Unfortunately, our list of off-world allies is presently rather short. Thus we were resigned to the fact that the meaning behind the message would remain beyond our understanding. One of my colleagues, however, refused to give up. She remembered the Ironworks engineers who had been so helpful in the construction of the Ragnarok and turned to them for insight into a seemingly impossible problem. Do you know what Wedge said when he heard what was going on? We should have Omega listen to it. I bet he can tell us what the message means. Not the Omega you beat in the Rift, of course. He's talking about the toy that trundles around with Alpha, that little model we made. We actually designed it to follow a chosen target and not much else, but I've seen it act in ways that, well, it's like it has a mind of its own. Then I got to think about those documents your lot sent to the chief, the full report on the final days. In the part about Omega civilization, it said that people discovered how to convert the mind into data and stored it outside the body. Timing being what it was, I wondered if Omega didn't somehow transfer its consciousness into our model right before you put an end to the real one. There they are. So, in an effort to get to the bottom of that, as well as take a crack at this indecipherable message, we decided to make some modifications. With the help from Labyrinthos technicians, we've upgraded our toy Omega with a fully functional vocalization module. Hello there. We played the transmission for Omega and I think it's ready to share. Alpha. Omega. Are you in there, Omega? Affirmative. If by Omega you are referring to my consciousness rather than my entire former chassis existing inside this considerably smaller frame. There you go. Prediction. You will formulate several misconceptions. These I shall preemptively dismiss based on the following facts. 1. Vocalization module aside, the chassis remains unmodified from the design constructed by the engineers Biggs and Wedge. I evaluate its combat capabilities to be on par with a mortal infant. 2. The mechanism which allowed me to perform an emergency transfer of my consciousness was installed in my previous body. With the destruction of that body, I am rendered incapable of replicating such a feat. Should this current material form be destroyed or cease to function, all cognitive awareness or presence I possess will also be lost. Conclusion. I present no threat to you or your star, nor do my projections indicate the necessity to inflict harm. In the fraction of a moment before my annihilation in the rift, I re-examined my directives. I am to fulfill my purpose as an evolving construct, then I must continue my journey for improvement for as long as I exist. I must acquire this heart of yours, this strength of soul. Well, there you have it. And it's not wrong about its combat capabilities. It might be more likely to damage itself than the thing it was trying to attack. But let's not forget the reason we brought you here in the first place. What about the transmission they played for you? Could you recognize the language? Affirmative. It was transmitted in Pan-Galactic Basic. Pan-Galactic Basic? Hold on. Where is the... Bow, 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 bow. A common language in comparatively extensive usage throughout the worlds we have conquered. Which means you can finally tell us what the message said. That is a language you understand, yes? I understand it perfectly. I am fluent in over 6 million distinct dialectal codings. 6 million forms of communications. My cooperation in this matter, however, is conditional. Elaboration. He's starting to talk like HK... Is it actually HK-47? Like, is that actually the number they gave him? It is. HK-47. The droid from the Old Republic. For some reason I doubted the numbering, but no, it's the real one. It's 51 in the MMO. In the MMO, 47 is the one in the game, the one we love. Elaboration. Your chief Sid utilizes the floor as part of his unorthodox filing system, which allowed me to scan the report on the final days. I am aware that my home star, the one you call Alphatron, was obliterated in the aftermath of Sir and Meteon's meeting. The existence of Dynamis is not previously factored into my projections, but I now comprehend the concept, in theory. What fails to compute is why the Omicrons were not immune to its effects. Dynamis should have no influence on a race which possesses no hearts. And yet Sir expressed to Meteon a desire to cease existing. Illogical. I must pursue this anomaly further until the full equation becomes clear to me. I don't know why I read the A as an O. Equation is what I saw. Equation becomes clear to me. I must analyze all the elements of the final days and deepen my understanding of the heart's intangible properties. To expedite this process, I require an external interpretation of those sections of the report which continue to produce errors in my calculations. I request the assistance of Chrane Carmine, as one who experienced the ravages of the ultimate despair on multiple fronts, and displayed immeasurable heart in engineering my defeat. He is the optimal choice to fulfill this role. So we either agree to your conditions or you tell us nothing. I'm sorry to put you in a spot like this, Chrane, but if you have the time and the patience to spare, we'd all be grateful if you could humor the toy's demands. Alpha fell asleep. Has Alpha dozed off? I suppose the subject was a bit technical. Rouse yourself, Alpha. You must listen to and consider these matters, even as I must. Why don't you take a trip, make a trip out of it? You know, actually visit the places that has the things Omega wants to ask about. It'll make explaining stuff easier for one, and also keep Alpha awake and alert. Yo, Omega! I see you have chosen the mutually beneficial option. Logical. Setting aside the matter of Sir, there are 3 elements on the report which I desire clarification. The first of these concerns was the progression of the final days in Vods. I recognize no pattern in those who succumbed to the transformation and those who did not. That's a bit of a trek if you want to chat with the locals. How about we lend you an airship? We do not require such outmoded technology. Crane's teleportation spell is the most efficient option for long-distance travel. This chassis is a model, essentially a toy, and Alpha, despite his organic composition, is indistinguishable from a stuffed doll. Conclusion, we qualify as material possessions. Pick us up and you can teleport the 3 of us to our destination. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Let's go, boys. Wow. Sensors indicate we have arrived in Vods. Objective. Identify factors for assistance to involuntary transformation. Hypothesis. Unaltered survivors of the final days will display significant strength of heart. Confirming this theory will require the cooperation of live subjects. Where is the ward designated for residential habitation? Understood. Kama, set as our sub-destination. Please take the lead and select the subjects we are to interview. This is strange. Alpha chirps enthusiastically, apparently unfazed by the prospect of climbing the stairs. Warning, please avoid stairs whenever possible. My projections indicate high risk probability for accidental slippage leading to catastrophic structural damage. Stepped inclines also increase my energy consumption by 63%. In mortal terms, they tire me out. Taking into account the difference in individual limb length, the design is inherently flawed. That makes sense, actually. A convenient step height for one is an exhausting trial for another. Yeah, all the Lalafels going up and down these stairs. Alright, to oversee the civic design of this settlement, I would construct a slope conveyor belt, which enabled automatic traversal, 0 personal energy expenditure. So can you not climb the stairs? You can. You whiny little thing. Let's see if we can teleport us to Kama. It worked. Huron boy. Young Sephiroth over here. Hey, don't I know you? Yes, after the beasts were taken care of, you told me to join everyone in the square. Thanks to you, I was there when Vritra gave his speech, and I found out who Varshan really was. It's a shame we don't get to play like we used to, but Mama says Vritra has been busy putting the city back in order. Maybe I can work for him one day when I'm a man grown. Vritra, Midgarsormr's offspring, yes? And this child wishes to put himself at the worm's command, that he might make his own contribution to society. A pattern emerges. I predict that the Hanish survivors are those who had ingested Vritra's blood and become his draconic minions. No. Though dragons were no match for our civilization's might, their combat capabilities are not to be underestimated. It is unlikely they would experience emotions of dread or uncertainty as exhibited by lesser beings in times of undue stress. Dragons? I'm not a dragon, and I never ingested anyone's blood either. Ew. You're not Vritra's horde? So you possessed no hidden means to fight off the beasts? What of fear, then? You were frightened? Yes, I was frightened. I just hid and hoped they wouldn't find me, at least until he told me it was safe to come out. Such a simple concept, this poor machine cannot understand it. Oh, hello again. You're the one who came to ask me questions about Kalzal. I'm glad to see you looking well after all the unpleasantness. I remember the burning skies and hearing the screams, but truth be told, I'm still confused as to what actually happened. I suspect she represents a sizable portion of the player base. I only know it wasn't unusual for entire families to go missing. Many of my neighbors' houses lie empty, even now. Kalsal's place is one of them. He had no close relatives to speak of, and I heard that it was members of the consortium who came to remove his belongings. What a terrible thing to have to do. Terrible. Kalsal's passing was recorded in the reports. Clearing out his domicile and readying it for new habitation seems an appropriate reallocation of resources. Dear me, what a clever little contraption, but of course I'm not against making use of his quarters. That would be wasteful. It's simply that Kalsal was such a vigorous person. All that passion, all those dreams suddenly gone. I feel the same sorrow for everyone who was lost, seeing the remnants of those vibrant lives packed away in boxes. That is what I mean by terrible. Yeah, it's sad. Omega. Please continue the questioning. These auditory sensors are inferior, but I am able to hear your conversation with sufficient clarity. Let me guess, Quay? Yeah. I love that he runs with his arms out, just so excited. He's always standing at the tip of the Titanic. Melancholy man. Are you a traveler? Please, if you have a moment, I could use an outsider's perspective. You see, I was one of those who sought to escape the madness plaguing the world by fleeing to the moon. Not that we ever went in the end. So here I am, recently returned from Charlian. Except now things are strained between my sister and I, since she chose to stay and I chose to leave. I ask her to help me find work, and she suggests I look somewhere that isn't Thavnair, as if I wanted to abandon my home. Makes me so angry. Your point is unclear. You elected to relocate to the star's satellite, thus your relative now perceives you in a negative light. Your sibling's judgment is an error, not necessarily, Omega. Based on the information made available to Hanish citizens, your decision to withdraw to the moon was both logical and correct. Conversely, the decision to remain in Ratzetan despite the low probability of survival defies explanation. Perhaps her reasoning pathways are faulty. That's right. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I'm right, aren't I? Or so I'd like to think. The problem is, I understand why my sister feels this way. Yeah. I almost decided against going myself. Even then, I wasn't sure that leaving behind everything I loved was the right choice. And with the way it all turned out, Chrane, I require a moment to process this input. Let us move apart and discuss our findings. Do do do. Do 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 do. Ultros, you need to calm down. You're always standing in the way. Processing data, evaluating hypothesis against accumulated evidence. I offered an optimal analysis of each subject's testimony, yet each time their responses conflicted with my assessment. Without identifying the root cause of this conflict, I will be unable to properly define what constitutes strength of heart. Perhaps the heart you seek lies in the conflict itself. An interesting observation. It is possible my base criteria is an error. In which case, it is imperative that I continue this learning process and repair any fundamental misconceptions. Next, I wish to interact with an individual who endured similar circumstances to Kalzal prior to his transformation. Are you acquainted with any local merchants who had dealings with him? Yeah, Matsya. Jinadaba of Reveda Fibers. Acknowledged. Sub-destination set. Oh, the merchant. Yeah. Over here, yeah. We helped him carry around a bunch of wares. That was a weird quest. In the middle of a crisis, but it is what it is. I need to do these off stream as well and record them for YouTube before finishing everything. Halt, Chrane. Do not proceed beyond that fence. In this body, birds of that size present lethal, unthinking threats. They will peck my casing apart, searching for meat that does not exist. Conversely, Alpha can correctly identify my absence of nutritional content. If only he would apply that intelligence toward maintaining a regular feeding schedule. Poor habits adversely affect his mobility. Que? Alpha looks back and forth between Omega and the Hamsa, showing visible concern. Yep. He knows what's up. Hello. Well, look who it is. I must thank you again for helping in moving our textiles. Recovering from those tragic events has been difficult, of course, but with everyone pulling together, we've managed to get things back up and running. Jinaba, I come with questions related to that tragedy, specifically your survival of the final days. Although you are similar to Kalsal in many respects, he succumbed to the transformation and you did not. Why? What is the critical difference between you and him? What? I'm sure I don't know. I'm not especially brave or courageous. If that's what you're asking. Perhaps being focused on protecting our workshop kept me from spinning into panic. Still, I imagine Kalsal would have been feeling that same sense of responsibility. Perhaps the weight of it all is what have invited his demise. You were of the same mind, resolved to the same purpose, yet your strength of heart, of spirit, was not equal. If merely emulating the individual is sufficient, then some other unseen factor must be involved. Not to interrupt these deep philosophical musings, but do you think I could ask you a small favor? Am I moving boxes for you again? My back. There's a man by the name of Nashvan who have been helping us out here while he gets back on his feet. I have a feeling he'd benefit from speaking with you. Leave by the eastern exit and you should find him just outside, organizing some new inventory items. Que? Alpha puffs out his chest proudly, seeming to imply that his Ironworks uniform is the best attire anyone could wear. The equipment being manufactured here, is it worn to perform specific duties? Yes. It is worn. Conceptually, it seems analogous to our practice of switching frames to better serve our mission objectives. I, for example, did not begin existence with the Omega model. I was originally supplied with a standard issue Omicron chassis, serial number M017. Have we seen M017 up there? On this world, that alphanumeric combination would be considered my given name. Such designations are drawn from our nearly infinite register of celestial bodies to avoid the possibility of duplication. Furthermore, the cluster known as M017 is better expressed in your language as the Omega Nebula. The same word I used to introduce myself to your kind. The same word I used to introduce myself to your kind, I see. Though you associate Omega with the advanced weapon construct, it is also my name, and I see no reason to change it no matter which frame I inhabit. That's some good lore right there. Like that. That's cool. I haven't seen anyone carrying stuff like this. So easy. Such a strong Arcasadara. That's a shame. I feel bad for him, but I'm working. I'm busy. That's all our orders accounted for, and everything looks to be a good quality. Kamala will be pleased. Ah! You were with the Scions. You were there. Oh, this song. Yes, I'm sure of it. I'll never forget that day. You and your friends helped us escape when people began changing into beasts. My own son, he was afflicted. Then that huge monstrosity loomed right over him and... Oh, that was you and your kid. I remember my heart turning to ice, freezing in place. The satrap came to my aid, but then he too was gone. I remember you, dude. I remember sadly making fun of you that you didn't care about your son that much because you didn't turn. Sorry about that. I suppose you didn't hear me, but still, I'm sorry. Yeah, Hawan saved him. Yeah, and then Gratia saved him. The memories run together in my mind like flashes from a nightmare. Only the words of your comrade still ring clear. I repeated them over and over like a mantra as I fled for my life. You must run for their sake and your own. It all seemed so surreal, which was probably what saved me from the transformation. The truth of it didn't begin to sink in until the worst of it was over. I have not the words to describe how I felt then. The sorrow, the overwhelming sense of helplessness. I may still be wallowing in misery if not for my old friend Jinabaha. I'd lost my will to work, and he encouraged me with kind words and odd jobs. Now somehow I live again. I am thankful to him, to the courageous Ihawan, and to you. If you see your comrades, please let them know their efforts were not in vain. You said you lost your will to work. This signifies a cessation of efforts to maintain basic life function, yes? What changed to extract you from that stagnation? An offer to work from Jinabaha would mean little to one without the desire to accept it. Was it some manner of mortal instinct, a primal need to survive and thrive? Instinct? No, it wasn't that. If anything, my instincts were telling me to lay down and welcome an end to the pain. Every day I think of my boy's final moments. I think of how scared he must have been. How it must have hurt. And I want to scream my throat raw. The Satrap too still haunts my dreams. I see him being swallowed whole and jolt awake in a cold sweat. But something changed when Jinabaha came to me. I looked up and saw that even without my son or Ayawan, the world around me continued to turn. And because that fact grieved me so, I knew it fell to me to live on and remember them. Strange, isn't it? What drives me to rise in the morning is the very sorrow which once crippled me. He left Omega speechless. Now, I must really return to my work. To lose this job after everything I just said would be poor jest indeed. May the sisters keep you well. Omega is speechless. Sorrow, the emotion generated by mortals when their ideals fail to materialize. This I have observed. Yet when I listen to how Najvan's sorrow served to rescue him from near-fatal despondency, his logic eludes me. Am I incapable of perceiving the full measure of the heart's properties? My best projections failed to predict our subject's responses, and despite their almost equal occupational and mental parameters, Jinabaha and Kalzal exhibited different reactions to the dynamis effects. I'm no closer to recognizing the pattern for involuntary transformations, and your ephemeral mortal spirits confound me as much, if not more, than they did before. Have you considered that there is no pattern to the people affected? The hearts of others were ever shrouded in mystery. Perhaps it's time to move on to the next element you wanted clarified. Have you considered that there is no pattern to the people afflicted? Boop. No pattern? You implied that the transformation was not contingent on individual fortitude, but rather a random contribution of environmental factors. Such a theory would explain the otherwise conflicting data. Very well, I shall accept this as provisional conclusion to this part of my investigation. I do, however, expect you to continue supplementing my education of heart-related matters. That's something else. Okay. Goodbye, Delta. Our next destination will be Camp Broken Glass. I desire elaboration on the dealings between the Ilsabar contingent and the citizens of Garlemald. The report described the contingent's purpose as the salvation of the local populace. Furthermore, both factions faced a common enemy in the Telophoroi. Why did they not immediately combine forces to their mutual benefits? The inconsistency requires closer examination. Chrane, initiate teleportation. Initiate teleportation. June. Hey, June. Teleportation successful. Evaluating immediate environs. A cold weather region by Aetherius standards, but significantly less extreme than a star with ice planet classification. It's no Hoth, that's for sure, yeah. This body should not be unduly impeded. In contrast to Alpha and his uncontrollable shivering, my frame appears highly resistant to low temperatures. Retrieving data. Data records indicate that remnants of the contingent force and a number of Imperial citizens yet inhabit this location. Well, yes, I could tell you that just by looking around. We must speak with representatives from both factions and explore their respective attitudes. Proceed. I still wish I could get the Resistance uniform. That'd be dope. I don't think you can. Right? Can you get the Alamigan Resistance uniform? Oh, you can. It's the filibuster armor? That's sick. So I can get that? Filibuster. Oh yeah. That's filibuster's scouting he's wearing, chest piece at least. And he's wearing the caster gloves, or healer gloves. I don't know where the boots are from. That's something else, I think. The pants, no idea. Maybe aiming or fending. Chest piece is scouting, which means I can get that because I'm gonna be rolling Viper later, so that's cool. Didn't realize I could have had this whole time. Here's the thing, comparing the gear. Yeah, Conrad was wearing coat of healing, gloves of aiming, legs of casting, boots of casting. Oh, the boots are expeditioner's moccasins, apparently. And then it's filibuster trousers of aiming for the pants. For some of the other ones, I don't think this one is the aiming one. Maybe it is. Gloves are still healing though, so I can't wear the full uniform, which is very funny. Hey, I'll settle for the scouting one. That's actually sick. Beltar's Wall and Samal. Oh, this is a Heavensward set. It's not even a Stormblood set. It's a Heavensward set. Insane. Okay. Chrane, how come to see how things are progressing, have you? No. Not even here. I can't speak for the overall strategy, but communication with the locals has become a damn sight easier since Julius and his soldiers stepped in to help. Oh, we shall face our fair share of distrust, of course. Some folk even think we're enslaving minds with our foreign magics. We have Anima to thank for putting that idea in their heads. Literally. But all things considered, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Establishing an open dialogue was the first big step. Query, you consider this level of progress acceptable? The reality of your efforts falls far short of the ideal. If your aim is to provide efficient succor to the local populace, then absorbing their number into your command structure would be the optimal path. Oh, I wouldn't want to go that far. We're not looking to take over their nation. Yeah. If we don't do this the right way, we need to recognize and respect each other's way of life. So while it may not be the easiest solution, I agree with the contingent's slow and steady approach. I'm just happy we're saving lives. You mean I can look like one of the Alamegans this whole time? That's insane. Why was I not told of this? God damn it. Kuchacha. She looks cool. Why did I lean my head as if I was gonna look around at this thing? Jesus Christ. Emancipated refugee. A shadow from the past? Yes, I know you from Victor's spoils. Have you come to laugh at me, a wretch who chose to lose Licinia and her sister rather than accept your help? The fool who ended up reliant upon your charity nonetheless. Well, perhaps I deserve your derision. My compatriots surely scored my failed conviction. I've shamed my people and brought dishonor upon my nation. I'm no better than a kept beast. My pride sold for a bowl of feed. But my soul, nay, that you shall not have. I have refused your honeyed offers of a new home. This land is where I belong, and this is where I shall remain. You demonstrate opposition to the contingent's overtures. On what basis do you refuse this cooperation? The data suggest the local populace is struggling to produce the bare minimum of sustenance. Have you some secret strategy for survival, or do your orders compel you to accept your present misfortune? Must I be mocked by Magitech toy now? No, I have no secret strategy, no binding orders. I but comport myself as a true Garlean patriot would. Uncompromising. Unbending. I have some news for you, dude. The Garlean Empire is gone. Blast it all. Once again, this input is unanticipated. Let us move aside and process what we have heard. Oh, in this giant circle, you mean? Surely it can't be that simple. Ultros! Why are you always standing there? Accessing and analyzing recorded data. Integration complete. I have evaluated this most recent input and made comparisons to our discoveries in Vods at Han. Consistent only in their inconsistency, the responses from both contingent member and Imperial citizen were highly irrational. Conversely, any Omicron, considering their predicaments, would have echoed my assessment exactly. The divergence from self-evident logic is key. Hypothesis: the illogical relationship between would-be saviors and suffering populace is another result of the unpredictable nature of mortal hearts. Any property or ability has inherent advantages or disadvantages, yet never have I encountered such a unique detriment. No! It appears that those who share your metaphysical capabilities are prone to complicating simple cognitive processes. An undesirable quality. I will, however, persist in furthering my understanding of the subject. What? Query. Prior to formulating our next step, I wish to know, who is this Licinia the Imperial mentioned? That's a sad story. My character immediately. Such a sad story. Similar to the woman I love. From the first, she was a victim to circumstance. Talking about Tesleen. Acknowledged. To summarize, insufficient data on foreign culture resulted in inadvisable, ultimately fatal action. I witnessed such self-destructive behavior during the course of our planetary conquests. Overwhelmed, enemy forces would voluntarily withdraw into perilous regions, leading to a succession of inevitable losses. Tangential data requested. Tangential data requests. I wish to learn about burial customs. The practices ever seemed nonsensical, but new data suggest it arises from the same source as your cognitive complications. Take me to this Licinius burial site. It may aid me in Omega? Energy delivery systems compromised. Core temperature critically low. Warning. Immediate heating required. Request. Apply friction to outer frame. It wants me to pet him? Rub some warmth back into Omega's frame. Sure. I'm here petting this dumb robot. Boop. Temperature nominal. Energy levels stabilizing. The creators of this model must have experienced impaired cognitive reasoning during the design process. Upon our return, I will request additional climate shielding, as well as an accurate temperature sensor array. This will not affect my combat capabilities, but should improve my basic survival rate. Reconfirming sub-destination. In which direction will we find Victor's spoils? Acknowledged. Alpha. You are to remain in close proximity, close enough to envelop me in your feathers. You are permitted to carry me on your back if you so choose. Huh? I'm allowed to work? He said. So while they're traversing all the pain out there, I'm gonna hang out with my friends right here and do some dancing. That's a terrible choice for dance. Moogle dance. No. No. I'll do this one then. I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. There we go. I'm back. Hello. Sorry. Of course it doesn't play anything I'm saying. There we go. I'm just happy there's sound. That's all I'm checking. Okay. There we go. Let's get back on the treadmill. We still have a raid to do. First wing of a raid. Can't believe they're bringing us back here. It's probably the saddest thing that happened this entire expansion, and they make me go back. Incredible. The nerve. The nerve. This thing should not still be on the screen. There we go. Glad I caught that before I kept doing anything. Okay, boys. Tell me what's going on. Why are we? Oh yeah, you wanted to learn about burial rites and stuff like that. A deceptively deep snowdrift almost defeated me, but we have successfully arrived at the location you indicated. Caution advised. I feel kind of bad for him because he cannot traverse this environment at all. An unknown individual appears to be investigating the object of my interest. You're Eosia's champion, aren't you? Chrane Carmine. Is he mad or how's this gonna go? Oh, I never introduced myself, did I? I'm Manius, soldier of the 1st Legion and comrade of Eulus. Okay. Perhaps you remember me from Tertium. We spoke about collecting ceruleum, and again later on after Lord Quintus had passed. Oh, he was one of them. I see. Interesting that the radio track came back. Manius, explanation requested. What is the reason for your presence here? That must be the tiniest Magitech weapon I... Oh no, it's just an oddly shaped communicator, isn't it? In any case, I have nothing worthy to report. I heard that the sisters of past used to live in my sector, were buried here. So I thought I'd come and pay my respects. Alphino and Alice told me the story, complete with profuse apologies, though they were adamant that no amount of remorse could erase the tragedy of what came to pass. Not that my fellow soldiers and I are in any place to judge. We were manipulated, fooled into starting an insurrection, which led to countless deaths among our own countrymen. Objection. The casualties incurred through your infighting are distinct from those caused by the Ilsebard contingent. To restate, you are justified in seeking restitution for the contingent, from the contingent for causing the deaths of Licinia and her sister. Retaliation for damages sustained is also a logical progression. Huh? It's a war-hungry little machine. I can deduce 2 reasons why you do not initiate hostilities with Chrane and his allies. 1. You judge your remaining forces too weakened to contend effectively with the contingent. 2. Your emotions are complicating the issue. Tell me, which of these is correct? Well, when you lay it out like that... hold on. I'm afraid my answer isn't like to win me any medals, so would you mind keeping this to yourselves? Sure. There's the unspoken thought that we're outmatched on the battlefield, certainly, but the real reason I'm not demanding restitution has little to do with weighing the odds. The simple truth is I'm so caught up with the simple survival that I've no strength spare for past grievances. The same goes for avenging any comrade we've lost, be that my brothers in arms or Lord Quintus himself. They still haven't cleaned this up, huh? Although it seems everyone has an opinion about the manner of his passing. Some say he should have fought until the end, that he abandoned us to the enemy. Others praise him for taking the full burden of responsibility and freeing us to walk our own path. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but I'm inclined to side with the latter. He gave us the choice of freedom, and that's the choice I made. I could cry and rant and rage, but what would be the point? I'll save my energy for worrying about my next meal, my next task. I need to focus on the ones left behind, on making some kind of life for my comrades and me. And if I need to lean on the contingent to do that, then that's what I'll do. Even if their aid comes at a price, I'm willing to pay it. Even amongst your own, there are times when cooperation demands compromise. What matters that they're outsiders? Besides, I think I could grow to like Alphino and Alice. They've reached out to us with kindness and compassion from the very beginning. My siblings are growing up. It is causing me to feel emotional. Summation. Your desire to survive, even should it mean allying with the contingent, was a feeling you already harbored. That your side had committed worse atrocities was the logic you invented later to justify your reasoning. Blunt, but accurate, I suppose. The heart is honest about what it wants, even if the mind takes a while to reconcile the decision. Well, this has been oddly cathartic, but I must return to my duties. There are wild beasts to cull, watchfires to light, supplies to transport. Even without an emperor, there's no rest for an imperial. Be well, and stay safe. He's nice. A nice imperial, who would have thought? Never did I think I'd live to see the day. I thought they were all bastards. There, take that as well. There we go. Upon review of recent input, I have arrived at an unexpected conclusion. I have been formulating my assessment on the premise that it was man who commanded the strength of his heart, but the data suggests the opposite is true. The surge of spirits, of feelings, of emotions, can entangle your thoughts to such a degree that even control over your own behavior is compromised. It seems a most counterproductive specification. This also explains why my interactions with mortal subjects have produced more confusion than clarification. It presents a formidable barrier to understanding. Okay, volume's still working fine. Good, thank you. Felt like I had to check in, see if the sound was fine. Okay, like. At the end of this, what are we building towards? Is Omega gonna turn into, like, are we on a Pinocchio journey and he's gonna be a real boy at the end? Like, what are we trying to get at here? I'm intrigued as hell by what we're doing, but I'm curious where we're going with it. I can't see, like, where this ends, really. My earlier hypothesis has been borne out. The suboptimal operation being conducted here is the result of emotionally compromised reasoning. I am ready to progress to my third and final query. I would learn more about those referred to as ancients. It is clear that this group is a crucial factor of the final days, but the information contained in the report was insufficient to form an overview. The Loporites are creations of the ancients and are said to maintain repositories of their knowledge. By my calculations, the base of the Moondwellers would provide the best source of additional data. Teleport us to their barrow, Chrane, and preferably before my batteries freeze over. Okay. Sure. I'm gonna show him the reputation room. He's gonna love that. Seeing a bunch of rabbits dancing. He's gonna be like, this is inefficient expenditure of time. Your teleportation spell was successful. We appear to have arrived at the location described as Bestway Burrow. An inspection of the technology in use here would give me detailed insight into the ancients and their civilization. This body, however, lacks my previous frame's advanced observational functionality. I will require external assistance. You know this one's going to be called Helping Way, and he's going to... Oh, it's Growing Way. Huh? No, it can't be. It is you! Oh, Chrane, I've missed you so! What? What's this you've brought with you? Ah! The soft, feathery vision! We've been outfluffed! Pack up the moon, it's all over! Poor Growing Way. Poor little Growing Way. Why bother with burrow building bunnies when you could walk around with this adorable avian engineer? Just bake me into a pie and be done with it. I feel bad. Inspector Inventions? Wait, so you're not done with us? I wasn't truly worried, of course. And I certainly wasn't about to roll myself in dough and dive into Cooking Way's new oven. I swear. If a technical breakdown is what you need, then I'm your Loporite. As a resident atmospheric regulation expert, I can field any question or query you might care to pose. Acceptable. I will employ this being to guide me around the facilities. Your presence is not mandatory. Even locked with my current chassis, I am still an autonomous construct that has endured hundreds of your life cycles. I am capable of completing this simple objective alone. Sure. The sound of him moving. Oh, you're leaving too? Bye, Alpha. Now I'm all alone. Hi, guys. Objective complete. What happened to Growing Way? After my 50th question, his responses began to suffer noticeable delays. By that stage, we had viewed a representative cross-section of Loporite engineering. Thus, I deemed it unnecessary to retain his company. Conclusion. Extrapolating from the fraction of technology on display, the full spectrum of the Ancients' advancement was, at minimum, equivalent to a level 4 civilization. A fact which demands further investigation. And what was your world? Despite establishing a near-ideal society, these beings nevertheless harbored a weakness which invited self-destruction. In studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. Growing Way informed me that another type of ancient-made entity exists upon the satellite, the one they call the Watcher. I would speak to him. Sure. I still really want to show you the reputation room. Then converse your ether. We will ride this Argos to our destination, as you have suggested. Yeah. So, if anyone here hasn't seen this room, When you start doing reputation quests with the Loperates, they will slowly add more and more like stalls to this room, and it's insane. This is what they're doing up here. Fade away. And fire and fades. This is what they're doing up on the moon. Didn't you know? Da, 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 da. And the like glowing sticks they have are carrot formed. So good. Inventing Way has his... Oh yeah, it was Dreaming Way that started all this. Dreaming Way is the problem. Then Inventing Way came in here and brought up his new stall of inventions. And I'm thinking this is going to be the mount you get for the reputation. I'm assuming. I don't know that for sure, though. Riding Way, standing here next to it. Then they opened up. I'm not sure what this stall is, to be honest with you. I'm not quite certain. Greening Way. Of course, he's the only one wearing a green shirt. My dream is to stand out in green. How do I look? Please say green. Yeah, they opened a stall for painting. Basically, they're just graffitiing a wall and the floor. How about painting? I don't have a talent or coordination. Fixing Way over here is the mender. We have Keeping Way. And Cooking Way opened up a stall. Managing Way is the one who gives you your quests. And Coining Way is the one who sells you the stuff. All the good shit. And you can get Finding Way to join you as a minion. Can find his own way without you, but chooses to tag along. They're the crafter faction. I think it's such a fun reputation base. And just shows how insane this game really is. In the best way possible. Let's leave. It's their party. We're not invited. Argos. Impedance detected. The creature identified as Argos refuses to acknowledge our presence. Hypothesis. Upon our arrival, Growingway expressed concern that he had been outfluffed. This suggests the existence of a fluff-based hierarchy. My station in such a system would be predictably low, but Argos is adamant in ignoring even Alpha. Its fluffiness level is impossible to gauge. Argos turns to you in an impassive gaze. It seems you will need to intervene. You're the fluffiest of them all, dear Argos. Just think of them as luggage. Argos gives an exasperated snort before motioning who's back. It seems you have permission to climb aboard. You have secured the creature's permission. Curious. You must have special standing in the fluffiness hierarchy. I have allowed myself to become distracted. Let us continue on to the Watcher at once. I love that we're completely ruining his entire perception of the world, one conversation at a time. This poor dude. Pillar of Industry. If I saw that last time I was here, I hope I laughed because that's fucking great. I do not remember seeing it, but my god. That's a horribly loud sound. Riding home. Watcher! I was bemused by the arrival of these small visitors, but I see they are companions of yours. What a rare thing for my abode to be thus crowded. How may I be of service to you? Hello, Watcher. My purpose here is to learn more about the ancients. I would know of their deeds, their philosophies, the very nature of their hearts. I would understand why the final days was visited upon my home star. A worthy endeavor, but there is another better suited to assisting you with that task. Perhaps you might favor us with a tale or two of the ancients you met during your travels, Chrane. My fragmented memories would be pale substitute indeed for the clarity of your more recent experiences. Ha 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 ha. A lot of information. It was a lot of questing over there. I've seen them quite a bit throughout this entire game, so yeah. Yes, I can envision every detail. Your meeting with Vana and Emetzelk and Hythlodaeus. The sorrow and determination of Hermes. I am a creation of Hydaelyn, and such I believe the age of the ancients would fade and be forgotten. Yet, knowing that their memory lives so vividly within you, it brings me great joy. I pray you keep them close to your heart. I will. At the time of your journey to the past, the one whose essence I embody would have been a scholar at Anadr. A shame. Had you reason to go there, perhaps you might have met. As a man of learning, he was firm friends with Vana. They spent long hours trading theories or debating the laws of the universe. I remember joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us. Yet of the events surrounding that tragedy, I recall precious little. Hydaelyn wished for the people of your age to decide their own path. Thus I suspect my recollection was limited by design. Yet even she... Let's take an image of that. Even she could not cut away one persistent memory. I felt most distinctly his sadness at what was to come to pass. That in becoming Hydaelyn's heart, Vana would forever stand apart from the people she so loved. Ah! That was loud. That was the wrong button as well. If she were so resolved in her convictions, then he, too, would share her sleepless vigil over the future yet to unfold. Thus was the vow he made to Vana as her transformation took hold. His fervent wish must have reached her in some fashion, For though his life was drained away by the summoning, he was reborn with new form and new purpose when I awoke as the Watcher of the Moon. And you heard, Chrane, you felt, you thought, and in seizing the future for yourself you have brought full circle the saga which Vana began. What you accomplished was no divine miracle, it was but the beacon of hope, passed down from one generation to the next, a succession of wishes and prayers reshaping the star into the world we know you deserved. You have our deepest gratitude. I thank you not only as myself, but as the man I once was, and on behalf of those who devoted themselves to Vana's vision. I understand the facts of your story, Chrane, but not how you have chosen to process them. On what grounds do you speak of Vana with such fondness? Is he about to bring up some facts? Yeah. By sundering the world, she ultimately guided your kind to victory, yet in doing so caused irreparable damage to its individual members. Yeah, she did. That's one of my... that's my opinion on the thing. Like, yes, she knew what was happening, but she doesn't decide for an entire world that because I know I'm right and I will sunder everything, and at the same time killing everyone, like effectively killing everyone by splitting them into 14 parts. Because even though that's a lot of new people given life, everyone who was there is gone. They're all dead. So is that better than their way of offering half of the population to summon Zodiark? I don't think either choice is good. I think both choices suck ass, honestly. And yeah. Which is why I don't think Vana is like beyond criticism, is like my thinking. In the end, I really like Vana as a character. I just don't think she's right necessarily, you know. She made her choice, and it is what happened. That's the thing. Like, it is what happened. I just don't know if I agree. Like, I don't agree with how she did it, but I also don't know if there was a different way to do it. Like, I don't know if she talked to people. I don't know if she tried to convince people of any other way. Like, I have no idea. I don't even know if it was possible. I just know that she took a choice out of billions of people's hands to split the world and everyone's souls. So, yeah. I don't think either side is right in this. That's my position. I don't agree with either side. The full scale of that act is beyond calculation. It is evident, however, that it resulted in a protracted period of suboptimal existence for Emet-Selch and his brethren. Query. If the survival of your kind is the deciding factor in your evaluation, then should you not also admire Hermes and his decision to subject man to a trial, forcing you to change or perish, as was the fate of countless civilizations before you? From my perspective, his determination was similar to that of the Omicron's ancestors, those who first began trading flesh for machine, so that our people might stand against the onslaught of aggression from other races. So believe. It was an unprecedented attempt, accompanied by much failure and sacrifice. Their early experiments were crude, primitive. Had they not made those first advances, however, we would have remained vulnerable to our environment. The violence would have utterly consumed us. And what of Emet-Selch himself? Judging by your retelling, he was a benevolent ally saddled with tragic fates. Yeah. Yet I remember the years when my instruments fed me data from events across the entire star. During that time, I witnessed his Asians engineer multiple instances of cataclysmic strife. Yeah. Also true, which is why I don't agree with them either. These calamities, as you know, I think it's incredibly weird that they don't even view us as living beings. That's my biggest issue with the way the Asians work. They're like, well, they're sundered entities. They're not real. Doesn't matter if we kill them. They're not living. These calamities, as you know them, were responsible for planet-wide destruction. A man whose endgame relied upon the extinction of all modern mortals must, by definition, be your worst enemy. He was my best friend. I require an answer. As a being of heart and soul, how do you classify each of these pivotal figures? From your perspective, which of them was most justified in their actions? Do I get to take a stand on this? Oh! They were all justified in their own way. Vana, Hermes, Emet-Selch, none of them were. Honestly, yeah. I think Vana took a choice out of everyone else's hands by sundering the world. Because she knew what was right. But as far as we know, there was no attempt to converse with the convocation or anything like that. Hermes went mad because he was like, death is the destiny for everything living, and he went absolute batshit, so no, I don't agree with him either. And Emet-Selch didn't view us as living beings. It was like I love Emet-Selch as a character. Don't get me wrong. I love Vana as a character as well. But I really love Emet-Selch as a character. Like, he's incredible. But I do not agree with anything that he's doing. Like, the fact that he's doing all this, but he's forgotten, like, why it's happening is incredibly sad. But that doesn't justify what he's doing. None of them were. I think I understand. You seek a definitive answer, yet based on our experiences, Chrane and I might develop very different opinions. In the same fashion, you are free to form your own thoughts on the matter. Do not be so swift to consider them without merit. Good point. I do not have my own thoughts on the matter. I assess each situation with the same logic pathways available to every Omicron. Even if 1,000 Omicrons were asked to analyze the same event, they would all return the same results. That's probably why your civilization died out. Regardless of individual experience, there is no strength to be found in fractured reasoning. Nonetheless, I find your input valuable, recording data alongside interview results. This concludes my investigation into the incomplete elements of the final day reports. I will reanalyze the accumulated information and examine the factors which led to Sir's incomprehensible decision. Let us return to Thamazane. Did this quest take 2 hours? Along with the Tataru one, did both side quests take 2 hours combined? If so, that's insane. No flying allowed. Ah, there you are, right at the last moment. Your journey with Omega was probably educational, I hope. We plan to ask all about it and that mystery transmission besides, but I'm afraid something urgent has come up. Seems one of our Ironworks associates has fouled up a job elsewhere, and Jesse needs Wedge and me to rush in and lend a hand. There's an airship already waiting for us in the harbor, in fact. Do you think you could escort us over there and talk as we walk? Acceptable. I'm fully capable of speech during ambulation. I figured you might be. Right, let's get a move on then. A conversation while moving? Is that legal in this? Do we have the technology? We have the technology. So, you've cleared up all those points of confusion then? This is insane. We're walking and talking. I had mistakenly classified your intangible heart as an ability of some kind. Damn, they're playing this song. An uncanny power that Omicrons could neither learn nor even measure. Even now, its full nature yet eludes my comprehension. Based upon our investigation, however, I have decided to alter my definition. A phenomenon which influences one's interpretation of reality. I love that now I get to choose the speed of this. That is as close to an answer as I have found. Accordingly, Sir's actions upon meeting Meteon strongly indicate the presence of a heart. Sir did not follow routine logic, but formulated an independent assessment based upon the reality it perceived. It felt that the best recourse for the Omicron was to cease their expansion and terminate all functions. That was a crazy pan. Well, here's our ship. Aye, we need to be going, but first, I'll hold you to your bargain, Omega. It's time you told us what was in the transmission from the flight logs. Acknowledged. I will uphold the terms of our agreement. Let's hear it. The recording salvaged from the Ragnarok was a simple one. The message is so basic, in fact, that the time spent listening to it may result in the net loss of value. Shall I continue? Now you're just teasing. Tell us the message already. Oh, with the vocals. Oh! I hear you turning. So good. It's so funny to me that he went from voicing Raubon in A Realm Reborn to singing some of the best songs in this entire game. It's so cool. Acknowledge. Converting dialect coding to local language. To whomever receives this message out there in the vast reaches of the cosmos. To someone, I hope, who looks up at the stars with the same wistful gaze as mine. To you I say, forge ahead. May all our tomorrows be blessed with joy. That actually made me a little teary-eyed. Time with the music. Perfect. I don't know why I felt that so much. This message had no designated recipient. It lacks purpose. The concept of joy is overly abstract. The vocal supplication to manifest said joy is unrealistic in its optimism. Yet, based upon their expressions, my assessment of the transmission's value conflicts with its apparent impact. I love this game, dude. And still, I fail to understand you, sir. Your heart still confuses me. Was termination of everything the correct course? How did you arrive at this conclusion? It defies all my attempts at reasoning. But I was designed to evolve. If I continue to learn, the probability that I eventually comprehend this phenomena is greater than zero. So I'll put the dilemma of your decision aside for now. And continue my existence upon this distant star. As I dwell among these many life forms, so will I continue to piece together the complete shape of their mortal hearts. I must document their progress. God damn. At first I got teary-eyed in the early parts of the song, and then later when he watches them board the airship, I don't know what the hell happened. I felt like something inside me kind of just broke. I had a hard time talking there for a second. That was so good. Your contribution to my education is appreciated, Chrane. Indeed, I have amassed a satisfying quantity of valuable data. Now that our negotiated business is complete, however, Alpha and I will return to traveling the world. Drawing on recent experience, I'm confident we can expand the radius of our ventures by a significant margin. We need not limit ourselves to Eorzea. I am familiar with Charlian and Radzethan, and would also like to revisit the freezing climes of Garlem. I neglected to instruct Biggs and Wedge to upgrade my climate shielding. I will reroute my request to Deputy President Jesse. Engaging ambulation and parting salutations. Farewell, Chrane. Bye, both of you. Take care. Quay. Alpha gives a vigorous shake and draws forth a scrap of paper from under his wing. Quay! It seems he wants you to have it. Perhaps it's his way of thanking you. Oh! Oh! Swiftly, Alpha. The road ahead is long and we have barely begun our journey. Bye. I got flow together. I thought I was just gonna talk to him and then leave. Why? Elfirs, huh? This statue is representing Thaliak, one of the 12 divinities of Eorzea. Last spot is his butt. It's his feet? That's worse. If you've learned your history, you'll know that the 6th Umbral Heir brought a catastrophic flood to the lands of Eorzea. Yet when all seemed lost, the 12 Archons... Oh. 12 Archons, not the 12 gods. Rose up and saved multitudes from a terrible fate. Of those 12, it was Archon Nunkrep who brought our ancestors here in his ark. And together they founded what was to become the great nation of Sharlayan. Okay. I thought it was telling me that the 12 gods stopped the 6th Umbral Calamity or whatever. I was like, what? That would have been dope. Like an awesome part of history that we didn't know about. Okay. That's both side quest lines, which means I can scratch both of those out from my checklist, which means that next is the Alliance Raid Part 1. That is our next destination here.